What's your relationship now with Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta? I know your relationship with Lorenzo is completely different than the relationship with Dana, but they did come to Montreal a couple of weeks back. You guys did meet up, I think it was for a steak dinner or something like that. What's your relationship like with those two?
I have a very good relationship with both of them. Dana is the promoter, you know, he's the face. He's very emotional. Lorenzo is more rational. So you have two different kind of guys. You have a rational one and an emotional one. And to be a good promoter, Dana is the best at promoting stuff. Like I don't, you know, like I never hate Dana. I always have a good relationship with him. Dana will do what it serves him best, you know, to promote the event. He doesn't care if he's bad or good. He want to promote it. He want to make the guys talk about it. And he's the best in the world. Nobody can deny he's just fantastic at what he does. Even though if you like it or not, you'll talk about it no matter what. And I know this. So for me, I don't take anything personal. I don't mind. And they always been there for me. You know, I always been treated very well with the UFC, you know, like except that incident after the fight when he came out public. But he did that because that's what it served him best at the time. You know, for him, he didn't want me to leave with the belt. It didn't serve him best. So for a business perspective, you know, that's how he says, you know, and I don't have any, I don't take it personal, I'll tell you the truth.
That's a night that Canadian mixed martial arts fans will never forget, because to this day, I could be pumping, you know, putting gas in my vehicle. I could be buying milk at a supermarket. When I get stopped, the questions I always get are, how's Georges St-Pierre? Is he coming back? Man, am I pissed off at Dana White for what he said about Georges St-Pierre after the Johnny Hendricks fight. People to this day have not forgiven what he did, and that was the last time we saw you compete in the octagon. Did you ever get a chance to look at that post-fight press conference? Because I remember I was at the back row underneath the cameras as it was going on, and my fellow media were looking back at me just with their eyes, and in my head I'm like, Dana, what are you doing? Just go backstage, talk to George for a second, then come out and say what you want to say. But he didn't do that till afterwards, and I think the damage was done.
No. What happened after the post-fight? After the fight, I was in the locker room waiting for the doctor because I had a cut. I needed to have stitches. And I waited a long time for the doctor. Then the doctor came, they give me the stitches. And then after the stitches, I told the UFC PR people, so I'm going to go to the press conference. They're like, oh no, you cannot go, you're not allowed. I'm like, what? I say, you cannot go. Then I realized, wait a second. He's like, oh yeah, can I go? He's like, stop me to go see you. Then I walked through, and they said, you cannot go. And I walk in. That's when I came on stage, everybody, they didn't expect me. But that's why it was kind of a weird feeling, because I was not supposed to go. They told me to not go. But I realized something was happening. I was like, yeah. So I don't know what they're trying to say. So I walked in the stage and I went to the press conference. And that's why. I didn't realize at that time because I didn't know what they were talking about. But it's after, when everything came down, I realized all this. But I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what was going on.
Have you ever watched that press conference again and saw what Dana, was saying? And I understand. Listen, we both know he's very emotional. He's very heated. He's going to say what he wants to say whenever he wants to say. But this is just my personal opinion. I know he regretted it. And did he ever apologize? Probably not. But
No, he didn't apologize. He wanted me to be. What he said, it was smart because he wanted to create a buzz for me to say, okay, I'll come back and I'll do it again. You know, that's what he wanted me to do. But in a scale of happiness, you know, sometimes I'm thinking about it, and one of the reasons I stopped too. On a scale of happiness, since I would say Jake Shield in Toronto, like after I came back for Carlos Condit, I was very motivated. I was very hungry because I didn't fight. I had the itch back. That was one of my best fights with Carlos Condit. But then after, he came back to the same. And when I fought Johnny Hendricks and Nick Diaz, I asked myself the question, if you would take a scale of happiness, who would be more happy to becoming world champion the night of the fight? Me, who gonna get the title another maybe 9 or 8 or 9 or 10 times, or the guy who gonna get it for the first time and is gonna change his life, is gonna have the exposure, the sponsor, the money, and everything. I think on a scale of happiness, the contender will be way more happy to win it the first time than me to win it the second time. So that's when I realized that I was like, you know what? I'm not very, on a scale of happiness, I don't have the same anger. In order to feel, to gain that anger again, you need to get out of it and step back. And that's why I take a break. You know, I need to, if I want to come back, I need to find that anger back, and it'll take time, you know, if I ever plan to come back.